the TiRx Sport Bike tire changer. It's wall mounted and takes very little space, collapses flat against the wall. We'll start a demonstration by letting air out of the tire, and we do that. We're going to take the valve, actually remove the valve from the stem, and the reason we're doing that is so that we make it easier to compress the tire into the drop center of the wheel, which is critical to making this tire changer work so easily. And now we're going to break the tire bead. So we're moving this roller arm and orienting it so that the wide end of this roller is going to be facing the hub. And we do this with both the front and rear rollers. And moving this so that the rollers ride just touching the rim of the wheel. Using a 12-volt drill with a socket and adapter, 9/16. And being very careful to get my rollers as close to the rim of the wheel as possible. I've broken a bead of the tire and backing it off a bit. I rotate to break that bead all around. But that's just one bead this time. Sometimes you'll get both. So backing it off. I'm going to adjust the height of the roller arm so that I can get the front roller, where the bead is already broken, down where the roller is actually touching the wheel rim. Having broken the front bead, I've adjusted so that the front roller is going to be riding against the rim, and the rear roller will be just above the rim, and they slide up and down. And again, being very careful to get the roller placed as close to the rim as possible. I've now broken the back bead. We can back off and reorient the rollers. Now this time with the narrower end of the roller facing the hub. Just raise the roller arm a bit, tighten it up just a tad. And now we have the rollers keeping the bead of the tire in the very drop center of the wheel, which will minimize the stress down on this end where we have the demount arm with duck head. So sliding this collar over the notched axle, little push, we have our duck head between the wheel and the tire. We're going to use some tire lube. This is liquid detergent and water mix. You can also use a window cleaner if that's what you have. And our general rule is spray off and paste on. And you can get paste at an auto parts store, and that makes it quite a bit easier to do the job. Oh, a little rotation to get the tire in the drop center of the wheel, and this Omega clip to hold it there. I can take my tire iron, this one from Harbor Freight for $6, sliding it between the duck head and the tire with no metal-to-metal contact between the rubber tire and the plastic duck head. Slight rotation to make room for this bead tooth. This is used to keep the tire off the wheel once we get it over the duck head. And as you can see, we already have this tire released from the wheel. Release the front bead. The back bead, easier still. Fitting it through until I can feel the tire iron coming up over the rear bead. Again, I lever, rotate just enough to get the bead tooth between the wheel and the tire. The back bead's a piece of cake. Now to mount the tire, we're going to start with some tire paste. The tire lube is available at your auto parts store, and it really makes the job a lot easier to do it right. You know, a warm tire and tire lube make this a much, much quicker job. There, we have tire lube on front and rear. And now we're using a sidewall clip. This just clips on to the rim of the wheel and holds the tire in place. So we get it rotated to where we can now use the roller arm to help with compressing the sidewall into the drop center of the wheel. A little rotation there, and we're using an Omega clip to keep both beads in the drop center, and guiding the tire onto the wheel. We've completed that whole mounting job. We're going to back the rollers off, and for safety, while we're thinking of it, we're going to lock them out of the way so traffic won't have people getting injured on that. And removing the demount arm. So putting the valve core in the valve stem. We're ready to inflate the tire. we're going to inflate the tire, and notice we have a gap here. We don't want our fingers there, and when this baby pops under inflation, you'll know why. And both beads seated. So, having the tire properly oriented and on the wheel, we now want to do a balancing. And this axle serves as your static balancer. So that's an item you don't need to spend your money on. We're just going to let the tire find its heavy spot on the bottom. Mark that point where it settles in. Slowly add weights until, after releasing it, we find that it doesn't seek a low spot again, and you're done with the balancing. But we're not done yet. For safety, you really want this locked up and out of the way so that kids in the house who might be walking by or friends won't be injured as they're passing by.